Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alejandro Rivera, and along with my colleagues of the Colombian Agricultural Institute and the Panamerican Center for Foot and Mouth Disease and Veterinary Public Health, we want to present the talk, The Control of an Outbreak of Foot and Mouth Disease in Colombia, 2017-2018, Lessons Learned. The first slide is for giving a context of the objective of this presentation. Colombia is a country located in the north of South America. It has the third largest cattle population in South America, 28 million cattle. In terms of FMD status, it has a small FMD-free zone without vaccination in the northwestern part of the country, and a larger FMD-free zone with vaccination covering the rest of the country except one department bordering Venezuela, which is considered as a protection zone. The cattle population is vaccinated against FMD twice a year. While making the progress to eradicate the disease, the country experienced sporadic incursions of FMD virus from neighboring countries in 2004, 2008, and 2009. In fact, the risk of FMD virus incursion remains moderate as Venezuela is regarded as an infected country which suffered severe drawbacks in its FMD control program since 2016. The objective of this presentation is to report the control of a major outbreak of FMD in Colombia that started in June 2017 and lasted until October of 2018. 3 years of absence of FMD outbreaks in South America were interrupted when on June 20 of 2017, an outbreak of FMD was reported. It affected one herd with 136 cattle located in the department bordering Venezuela. The investigation related to this outbreak revealed a smuggled infected animal from Venezuela as the source. On June the 22nd, another outbreak was confirmed in a high mountainous area, Chacopí, of a department located at the center of the country, with poor road access. Several small herds were affected and more than 2,400 cattle, among other animals, were stomped out and buried. Later, on July 11th, FMD was confirmed in a small herd in the same department but 134 kilometers away of the second outbreak. It was presumed that these two outbreaks were related to contaminated products brought by Venezuelan immigrants, but there was no evidence of this hypothesis. Finally, a fourth outbreak was confirmed in the protection zone in July 15th, linked to a smuggling infected animal from Venezuela. Apart from the second and the third outbreaks, it was considered that all these events were unrelated, but as a result of different incursions of FMD virus from the same infected country. The phylogenetic analysis of the outbreaks isolates confirmed that all the isolates belonged to lineage number 6 of type O viruses from South America, according to Marilat and others who analyzed the O virus strains isolated in South America. Specifically, this genotype has been isolated in outbreaks of foot and mouth disease that occur in the state of Venezuela and departments of Colombia between 2003 and 2018. But this time was the first time this genotype has reached that far inside Colombia. Like all three countries in South America, Colombia adopted a set of sanitary measures in accordance with its contingency plan and its sanitary status. A list of all the sanitary measures is described here, but I will not list all because of the time constraint. Given that the entire activation of the free zone with vaccination had been suspended, which corresponds to most of the country territory, Colombia decided to apply for a containment zone. Although the outbreaks were not related to each other and rather resulted from independent incursions, all the viruses isolated correspond to lineage 6 and were closely related. Based on this, the departments where the 3 outbreaks occurred in the FMD-free zone were grouped to form a containment zone, which was established in September 2017 by ICA. It was approved by OIE in December 2017, and the freeze status of the rest of the zone was restored. In September 2018, and while Colombia was completing the work to regain the free status throughout the country, A small herd of 18 cattle located in the containment zone was confirmed to be infected with foot-and-mouth disease virus type O. The main effect of the reappearance of the new case of FMD was the withdrawal of the approval of the containment zone and the suspension of the free status in the entire zone subjected to vaccination again. In addition, in October, 2 new outbreaks of foot-and-mouth disease was confirmed in the Venezuelan border departments of El Cesar and La Guajira. The fifth outbreak was considered as a result of the transmission of the infection in the containment zone, and the sixth and seventh outbreaks were considered as independent incursions of smuggled animals from Venezuela, given that the affected areas were close to the border with that country. High homology or FMD serotype O isolated in 2018 with those isolated from 2017 was found. The setback caused by the reappearance of the infection in the containment zone led to a revision of the control strategy. The following actions were decided. A post-vaccination monitoring in the former containment zone to assess the actual vaccination campaign, a test of vaccine matching with the 2018 isolate, which informed that the vaccine produced good protection in animals vaccinated and revaccinated, a FMD vaccination round in October and November of 2018, an additional FMD vaccination round in January and February of 2019 in those departments with FMD outbreaks in 2017 and 2018, a serological sample for PVM and variant transmission in the suspended FMD-free zone, submit a dossier for the restitution of FMD-free zone with vaccination, and rezoning of FMD-free zone with vaccination, dividing it in 4 zones, implement vaccination round according to the risk in the zones bordering Venezuela. A key input to inform this new strategy was the post-vaccination monitoring in the containment zone. In this sense, a two-phase cross-sectional study to estimate the prevalence of antibody produced by the foot-and-mouth disease vaccine at the herd level throughout the containment zone was decided. The overall apparent prevalence of protected cattle was 0.78 for serotype O. Factors such as age, herd size, and department were associated with immune protection levels. Thus, this study revealed that despite reporting high level of vaccination coverage, small farms and some departments in the containment zone had less immunity than expected. After the January and February vaccination rounds, during March and April 2019, 4 cross-sectional surveys were carried out to detect the viral transmission and estimate the prevalence of antibody against FMD. One survey was done in the departments with outbreaks during 2017 and 2018, the former containment zone. The second survey involved the departments with outbreaks in 2018 only. The third survey involved the rest of the suspended FMD-free zone, and the fourth survey was carried out in the protection zone. Tests of ELISA CFL for PVM and ELISA 3ABC and AITB to detect viral transmissions were used. The result of the PVM at animal level ranged from 83.7 to 95.7% of the cattle protected for the serotype O in the 3 areas with FMD status suspended. Homogeneity of the result considering the herd size was observed. No evidence of viral transmission was detected in any herds of the 3 areas sampled. In February 2020, the suspended FMD status was recovered. In May 2020, the division of FMD-free zone in 4 zones was approved. As closing remark, we can say that the incursion of FMD virus in Colombia during 2017 and 2018 were associated with weaknesses of the vaccination program, particularly in areas with a predominance of small herds. PVM was critical to detect factors associated with suboptimal immunization of animals. Containment zone is a valuable strategy to restore free status in the rest of the territory, and a new scheme of vaccination in the current FMD zones with vaccination considering risk is being assessed by ICA. A political commitment was reached for reducing the illegal movement of animals and products at the border with Venezuela, involving official veterinary service, police, and army. Rezoning of the FMD-free zone should give sustainability to FMD official status of Colombia. Finally, my acknowledgement and thank you very much for your attention.